Hello, I'm using my new mic to see if this works better. And I just opened up my 3D Pocket sample. I was going to do Operation 2 and my vise is upside down. I think because my vise is viewable. Let me shut that off. Vise. There we go. It says G55 vise. So if I click on Operation 2 to the right of the radio dot, because I have the sync view with active setup on, it flips over automatically into my isometric view, which is kind of like our home view, but I have it aligned for the setup. So there's my vise. And I want to note that we turn this part 90 degrees because we want to be able to machine it without making soft draws, because we have a nice flat surface here we can clamp on. And what we'll do is we're going to put a work stop on the corner. And what did I write here for my note? This is my X0, Y0 equals center, and the top, let me write that again. And equals top. Top of part, meaning this. I have been writing some notes in there. I don't really have it sitting on the job, but that's where we're going to sit on there. We could sit on this. Let me see here. Oh, no, we're going to sit on, let me turn off the vise. Getting confusing. Yeah, we have a big flat surface here. So we're going to sit right on the bottom of this. And we're going to use a work stop on this corner right there. So we could actually do the XYZ from here there. And if we're sitting on the bottom, and I would probe like a 1, 2, 3 block and shift it to whatever this height is. So let me just do a quick inspect. I probably should check my blueprint, but it's 750 tall. That's very achievable. Actually, let me change that, because we're going to use the 1, 2, 3 block to find the quarter, and we'd have to do math to get it to the center. Well, I'm sorry, that was Operation 1. So Operation 2, I'm going to change that. I had it to center, which required us to shift it by some blueprint numbers. I'm going to move that to model. Oops. Where am I here? Here we are. Nope, wrong one. Origin. Model box point. Let me see if I can align this. Move this out of the way. I would like it right there. Yeah, that would work. I think that's going to be better. I had done it before, but we got to remember to turn it 90 degrees as far as when you flip your model over. We're just not rotating at 180. We're rotating at 180 and then rotating it in the Z-axis like 90 degrees. Okay, because I did that, these will probably all update. So I'm going to go over the operations. We need to face mill the top. We need to 3D mill this cup here and this groove. And we need to rough it out. So we're going to do face the top, multiple levels. We're going to adaptive machine this area out. Then we're going to use the Scallop program to finish the 3D layer, and then we're going to chamfer the top. All right. I'm kind of going to do this backwards because I'll just show you what I did. So now this is the multiple cuts, so you can copy the existing program up here, the face mill, and duplicate it and bring it down here because all your feed and speeds will be set. And let me just hit cancel here. We'll go edit and edit. We got our face mill specs on there, geometry, stock selection, and we want to use all stock settings so it identifies the extra material. And then we're going to do multiple passes, multiple depths. And I have this set at the finishing step is going to be separate and a separate feed rate. And I have direction both ways. And no pass extension. Okay, hit OK. And I actually turn off the curves up and down. So, all right, so that's typical face milling. Then we're going to go adaptive. We're going to use the 1/4 inch smaller tool here. And it's going to be 3D adaptive, but adaptive is trying to do everything, so we need to control it. So let's edit that program. I'm using my adaptive 30% settings. I'm using my feed and speed presets for our Haas VF2. And right now we're going to use selection chain. We're going to chain this area here. And we had to play, we did tool inside boundary. We selected this chain. And we used rest machining so it wouldn't try to do everything else. So how did we do that? How do we make the chain? Sketches. Let me see now. Hold on a second. Okay, so what we did is I made a sketch to keep it as a boundary. And I didn't really need to be too exact, but I had to play with it in order to get it to stay inside. I could have used some of these existing like links here, but I just did a circle and made a box. So I just made a little containment area. So that gave me the ability to stay inside this boundary. I made my own boundary. And you can play around with these other numbers, but we're doing tool inside. And let's get down to passes. Got stock to leave, 20 and 20. Our feed and speed settings have done 30% on the optimal load. That takes care of that. And the fine step down. We actually made this a smaller number so it could get close to the curve. And we're using the 70% stay down, 10% micro lift with 400 engagement. Not really as important in this, but probably get in the habit of doing that. We're doing a helical entry there. So let me hit OK. So there's our roughing. It's roughing in there, and it's actually working from the bottom and stepping up. So those 25 thousandths would give you more control of getting close to the curve. And you notice it's making these nice little swoopy moves in here versus that's plowing like a slot. And then we're going to go back and we're going to copy the scallop and duplicate it and use the same boundary to keep it inside. All right, so let's just check the settings on that one. All right, we got our 3/16 ball mill using the same chain, and we did an additional offset of minus 0.025 with a boundary overlap. Now, if you let this hover over that, you can let it read. So I'm going to copy this number so I don't forget. Oh, let me put it on 0. Hit OK. All right, so we let it regenerate, and notice it's actually doing it correctly, but it's kind of flopping up and over here. So these are the kind of settings you can experiment with to see how it comes out. So I'm going to put 0.025. I'll try that one. And if you actually turn on the stock visibility and then shut off the tool path at this point, it's a lot of settings, but you can do it and see what it's going to look like without having to generate. And it depends on your, and then if you want to get really good, you just shut that off. And that's really just the stock by itself. So I'm going to say that looks fine. All right. I'm going to turn the model back on. I'm going to turn the cutting path back on. I'm going to shut off the display stock. Okay. And the last thing we're going to do is chamfering. Hit edit. And we get our chamfer preset in there using the chamfer tool. We also we wanted to chamfer the holes and chamfer all this area. So we had to do a partial here. We couldn't really get down in this area here. Let me shut some of those sketches off. Okay. Let me shut off some of the links and leads there. So that's toolpath only. All right, so we get most of it. We decide we're just going to hand deburr this section. And we're not chamfering up here. And that's pretty much it. And our time on that is 12 minutes. So let's check our settings in this one. We got 2 minutes on the adaptive and 6 minutes on the scallop. We'll check the settings on that. We have 10,000 step over, smoothing's activated. We're doing both ways machining, and pretty much how it looks is going to determine your feed rate. So let's make sure we're doing the same feed as the first side. We are doing, it's 3 thou per tooth there at 8100. So edit, and this is 2 thou. Let's upgrade that one, 3 thou per tooth, and that cuts some time off there. You can start upgrading your settings depending on how the surface finish looks. All right, post the code. This is the old way of posting with the legacy style. So I have my program numbered, got my comment line numbered, open NC file, and I did not choose machine. I actually I'm trying to get into doing this more and more. If you have a machine set up and we're using the VF2, I hit select, and then when I go to post, and let me change my comment here. This is no longer, I'm going to call this one upper, and Z0 equals top, plus 0.750 up. And that should be enough information to get the setup. Now if we're posting an open NC file and editor, I'm going to post this code in the VF2, make a new folder so I can do this later. Hit save. Review the code. So I got it labeled correctly. I'm using the G0s. Like the machine's been identified. I'm using tool 1, 3, 4, and 6 from operation 1. There's a note right here for setup information and a setup sheet, which I'll also print out. And we're using G55. Now, if we were to do this actually as 2 vices, we could edit this one. I'm going to make sure it's the same machine setup. VF2, hit select, and make sure we have WCS1 labeled. And this is the legacy way of doing it. You make sure, well, what's this thing say here? Oh, spindle speed is larger than for supported machine. Okay, let me go take a look at that. Oh, 8100. Oh, it is a little bit higher. I just want to make sure it wasn't like 12,000 RPM. All right, you would hold and then select both, post. It just gives you not a warning, but info that you have multiple. And to make it really efficient, we can reorder to minimize tool changes. And it becomes all program 3001. And I got all my tools listed. I have actually both of my setups listed on my, oh, that's pretty cool. This is face mill one side, adaptive. So this should have, I'm assuming it should have done face mill, first side, second side. So let me make sure I had both selected. So I got face mill, face mill. So that should have reordered. Let me post that again. Hit OK, reorder to minimize, post, save.
You have 15 minutes left of computer time.
Oh, getting kicked off again. Well, I guess it didn't choose that. Okay. Let me try the newer way with the NC program method. So this one is machine selected, open NC file. I'm not posting to the team. Operations, everything's selected, and reorder to minimize is selected. So maybe it's those manual NC codes that are triggering it, but not a big deal. So this is the same method. And same result. Fine. That's fine with me. Now, if we were to repost again, what's this say? Warnings. Yeah, I don't know why it says multiple. All right. So that happens when if you go back and use the post, you end up with multiples here. So if you end up changing something, make sure if you're an NC program to go back and post through here so you don't end up with a pile of them. But other than that, that pretty much takes care of that. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.